Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
Everybody to the Development Review Board. It's May 3rd, 2022. I call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda is the minutes. Is there any motion among the board?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and second? Thank you, Ronnie. All in favor of approving the minutes? Any opposed? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the witness oath. Dan, would you please read that?
Sure. We ask everybody who speaks this evening to sign in over at the podium, and it includes the following oath statement. I solemnly swear or affirm under the pains and penalty of perjury that the statements I make, testimony I give, and other evidence I submit to the board at the board's public hearing held on this date shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. And again, we ask you to sign in before you speak tonight, and it includes that oath statement. Next item on our agenda is the disclosure of any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest regarding the two matters before us this evening.
Everybody clean?
None? Okay. All right, our first item, we have two items on our agenda, or two hearings, two applications. First one is Cold Wet Labs, Inc., 33 Harwood Hill Road, and they are seeking approval for the outdoor display of sheds for sale. Andy, if you want to go up and sign in and introduce yourself and tell us what you're looking to do or continue doing, and we can go from there.
Greetings, y'all. I'm Andy Anderson. I own Cold Wet Labs. We operate the Patriot Sheds of New England on the corner of Harwood and Northside Drive, among other things. But today I'm trying to get approval to display and sell sheds that we have on that. I think you all had the write-up that I sent, the quarter-acre blank lot. You're probably familiar with the lot and have seen it go through what I think is a positive change over the last couple of years. And just looking to make sure we're dotting all our I's and crossing our T's, and that's what I'm here for.
Any questions among the board?
Allowed use in the proper district.
Beg your pardon?
Is it allowed use in the proper district?
Yep.
Now, I just do have one question. Is there any reason that this was delayed? Is it just a misunderstanding of the requirements?
Well, what happened is Andy had come in to talk about it, and he wasn't sure if he was going to continue with the sales. He wanted to see if it worked out. And I said, well, you know what? If you make a decision, make it permanent, why don't you come in? And so when he decided, yep, this is working out, I said, you know, we got to get you in here to make sure it's permanent. So that's how we worked out.
Right from the get-go, we talked to Dan about it, and as always, he's helpful.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Is there a motion?
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you looked at sight lines?
Sight lines for the road you're talking
Yeah,
about?
so that when you're coming up there, you can see what's happening? No
Yeah.
problem with that?
That's, we kind of make sure we stay back from the road. We're about 30 feet from the actual property line on that front roadside. Yeah, because even before we put them in there, we realized, you know, traffic can come whipping around there.
And coming out and trying to go from there to someplace else?
Yeah, you have plenty of room to see. If you ever pull in there, you know, you can see. That's one of the reasons we keep it so far back. I don't know if you know the fence at the Legion.
Yes.
We kind of end right at the fence, and that's 30 feet from the road.
Okay.
That was kind of the line we kind of picked, just because it was safe.
Is there anything in the code that says how far back? I know when we had cars on Northside Drive up at the auto dealers, we talk about that.
There isn't anything in the code per se, because these aren't, you know, if these were considered, you know, a new building, there obviously is some setbacks, but this is basically a display of a good, which happens to be a building. So, but he does meet the setback for buildings as well. So it's a little fairly unique situation, but this really falls under the display of
Okay,
of items for sale.
thank you.
Yep, Robert?
Yeah, hi. Do you have any idea how often sheds will be delivered and removed from the property? How
Hopefully-
often that's gonna happen?
Hopefully every day, all day, but seriously, it's a couple times a week that the trailer is in there moving, taking sheds. It's a revolving inventory, so people can buy off the lot. And so, usually it's the trailers there delivering or taking sheds to be delivered, because part of our deal is that we do free delivery within 30 miles. How's that for a pitch? But, so
Okay.
they're in and out.
Will they need to use the street to back in at all, or can
No.
they just drive in and unload the shed?
Yeah, they do. They drive right onto our property, and I own that 59 Harwood Hill too, so we can let them pull in there, no problem.
Okay.
And so they pull it right in there. That's never been an issue.
And this may not be germane, I don't know, but what is the business of Cold Wet Lab?
Cold Wet Labs is the corporation that owns the company. So it's a corporate name. We started it to form another business a long time ago, and so it's just the corporation that I own.
So there's no laboratory?
There are no laboratories. No, I'm a black lab. I'm a duck hunter, so it was named after my cold, wet dog.
Kat, did you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Andy. Can you speak to how, if I understand from the diagram you submitted, the parking for the shed business is accommodated at the building on the parcel north? Can you just talk to how the parking at that building meets both the needs of that office building and visitation for the sheds?
Sure. The office building is just our office, so it's very few people in there. It's myself and 3 or 4 other people at the most. And so there's plenty of parking along the front of it, but most times people just pull right into the lot. And there's just, we haven't really arranged it. It's kind of, you can see where you should park, and we don't really, it's not a problem if you park somewhere in the lot. A lot of people just kind of pull in, they want to look around, and they pull out, So parking has not even been close to an issue. We have people coming in and out, and it's, they're usually there for short periods of time, and then we pull them, they can pull in front of the building if they want to buy something,
Great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Andy, are you planning any new signage?
No, we have the signage on the building now, and that's probably it for the sheds.
So nothing permanent that you anticipate?
No, and we have like signs that we stick to the buildings, for sale kind of things, and, just marketing type things. We have banners and things like that we'll hang on occasion.
But nothing freestanding that you anticipate?
No, that's not in the plans at all.
Obviously, that would have to get approved as well.
Understood.
Not by us.
Yeah.
Right. Robert?
Yeah, any nighttime lights shining down, floodlights?
We don't have them now. We do have cameras looking out,
Yeah.
but, so we can see at night, but we don't have lights. Haven't really thought about it. People generally aren't shopping for those kind of things at night, but we thought about putting motion sensor on the building, but we just haven't.
I was wondering about the traffic coming down the hill.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't do something like that
Okay,
right now.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there someone on site during the business day? A
Yes,
salesperson?
yes. Our office hours, so I have other businesses that run out of that location, and our office hours are usually, somebody's usually there 8 in the morning till 6 or 7 at night.
But not on this lot, I mean in your building?
Right, so the sales of the sheds are handled by my guys in they get commissions on that stuff, and so we want coverage.
Right.
We want to be able to communicate with people who are interested, and so we have people on site.
Okay, and on a setup like this, do any of these sheds ever end up being used for storage?
Not at our place.
Okay.
No, they're all for sale.
Well, I know, right.
Yeah.
Or rent.
No, I have-
Ronnie, I'm sorry, did you have one? Or no, Jane?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is.
Excuse me, I need to clarify one thing for you. There's one shed, while we were doing some renovations, I have a kayak business. I moved some kayaks in there temporarily, so I got to be honest with you. That one is for sale, being used for storage, but it's not permanent by any means, and it's my stuff.
Right, okay, okay.
I just have a question. This, looks simple, straightforward. What happens if it gets out of hand? Do we have any controls and ways to say,
Well,
if there aren't any, we haven't established any lines and boundaries?
Well, the site plan shows where he's going to display the sheds. So
Okay,
if he
so-
displays them outside of that perimeter, then Andy will come back
So
to
these
us.
drawings then become
Yeah.
the proof?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'd love it to get out of hand a little bit.
All right, you're married to the site plan now.
We'll see.
I have one more question, kind of just a technical question. If I understood all of the minimum lot size and the size of this parcel, 1/4 acre, correctly, since this parcel and the parcel north of it are under the same ownership, maybe this is a technical question for Dan, are these lots considered merged at this point in terms of in the future figuring out setbacks?
Well, do you own them under the same corporate name, or are they separate corporate names?
So, no, the Patriot Sheds is a DBA of Cocard Anderson, one of my other companies.
Yep.
And Cold Wet Labs owns the property. Cold Wet Labs owns the building and the lot. Patriot Sheds pays rent to,
Got it. Okay, so the two lots are under the same ownership.
they're under the same ownership, but there's taxed separately. And we just bought the second lot about a year ago.
Yeah.
So they're
Something like that.
divided.
And so I understand with this application, since it's a pretty unusual use and it's not, an actual building that's being put in, we're not really looking at the strict interpretation of those side lot setbacks
Right.
and everything.
Yes.
But just, that was why it's kind of a bigger picture question. If we were looking at that for these two lots that are contiguous.
They would be considered, I did not look to see if they were both in compliance. I assume one of them is not. So they would merge if one of them was not in compliance, and it was the exact same ownership.
Okay,
But-
all right. Sorry, technical question.
It's okay.
Everything else? What's the board's pleasure? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Jane second. All in favor?
Great.
Opposed? All right.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, our second and final hearing this evening is PETA Development, otherwise known as Stevens Auto Dealership on 200 Northside Drive. These folks are seeking approval for the construction of an addition to the rear of their existing auto dealership building. I think everyone's familiar with the Stevens Auto Dealership, and we have a couple folks here ready to explain the project.
So,
I'm sorry, could you just state your name for the record?
I'm sorry, I'm Steve Rasinski, and I own, with my sister and partner, PETA Development, which owns the property that Stevens Chrysler Jeep Dodge is on. Similar situation, the dealership pays rent to PETA Development. And what we're seeking to do is put approximately a 50 by 17-foot addition on the extreme back of the building to accommodate our detail shop. The original detail shop was on the back of the building, but our service business has grown in such a way that we had to turn that into service bays. So we're just duplicating what was already there on the back part of the building.
And Steve, it's essentially the same materials, et cetera, as what's...
It will look like it was always there.
What was that square footage again, please?
It's approximately 50 by 17.
Oh, it says 840 square feet here, it's bigger than that, right?
That's pretty
I'm
close.
sorry?
That's pretty close, yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. 50 by 70, okay.
It just about mirrors the dimension that's already there for that application.
Got it.
Any other questions?
It's got a door on each end?
Overhead doors, yes.
Okay,
It's actually a full drive-through.
yeah, thank you.
All right, do we have any motions before the board?
Move to approve as presented.
Cat seconds. All in favor? Very good.
I feel a little slighted, no question.
Bang, bang, boom.
Thank you.
Good luck with your ankle.
They took a meter back. Not writing on both sides. Saves a lot of money.
All right, we have another item on the agenda, and that's election of officers. Are we also going to have a reorganization after
We will.
new appointments?
Yep, so we will. So we may have to go through this again in a couple months, but since Charlie has retired from the board and Dan has come in as vice chair to run the meetings, Dan had made the suggestion, I think it's a good one, that we should formalize the roles of chair and vice chair. That would be the work this evening is to nominate and elect a chair and nominate and elect a vice chair.
Any nominations?
Dan for chair and Charlie for vice chair.
Any other nominations?
I second that nomination.
That's not what I asked. All right, are there any other nominations at all? All right. All in favor? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Yes, I can only vote once.
All
All right, so that'll take care of it until, when do,
They typically appoint folks in June,
okay.
so it could be pretty quickly. I think your term is up, and I know
Yes.
you've reapplied, and Robert, I think you've also reapplied. And everybody else, I think your terms are not expiring this year, so.
So we'll have another power struggle.
That's right. And I don't have any other business unless you folks do.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn? Any second? Ron, second. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.